guys, it's Sav. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make homemade fondant without using marshmallows. I'm going to admit that I've never tried the marshmallow method where you take a bunch of marshmallows and then you zap them in the microwave. I've read is that it gets really sticky, really messy, and although it tastes delicious, it's just really messy and a pain. If you don't like fondant, then this recipe will definitely change your mind. So I'm starting off with my milk here, and to my milk I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of gelatin, or you can just say 4 full envelopes of your gelatin here. That'll come in a little box just like this. And you basically want to stir this until it's nicely incorporated, and you're going to let it sit for about 3 to 4 minutes. It'll get firm and it'll bloom. It'll look just like this. Next, you place this into the microwave and microwave on high for 1 minute. I've taken it out and now I'm just stirring this. It'll become nice and liquidy. This will be the base for our fondant. We're going to put this to the side. In a separate measuring cup, I'm going to add some corn syrup. You will also need some butter and some glycerin as well. You'll need about 2.5 tablespoons to start off with, and then later on we're going to knead in some more glycerin as needed. Next, I'm going to add in a little bit of butter flavoring and also some vanilla extract. Then you just pour this mixture into your gelatin and your milk and then give it a nice good stir. And now we're just going to place this into the microwave and cook this once more for about 2 minutes or until the butter has melted. So I've taken it out and I'm just giving this another good stir. Set this mixture aside and allow it to cool until it's lukewarm. Next, you want to strain your milk and gelatin mixture into some powdered sugar that is in a stand mixer. Once that's complete, you want to go ahead and mix this all by hand using a spatula. Now you can go ahead and place in your dough hook, and that'll help complete most of the job for you. With your mixture on stir, go ahead and start adding in your powdered sugar a little bit at a time. I used anywhere from about 3.5 to 4 cups of powdered sugar total. You'll know your fondant is about ready when it'll start to pull away from the sides of the mixer and it'll start to kind of clump around the dough hook. You want to stop your mixer, and my trick is vegetable flavored shortening or crisco. So with the crisco on my hands, I go ahead and I start to pull away that fondant from the dough hook. And then I put some more crisco on a nice, clean, sanitized surface. I spread some out and then I add some cornstarch right on top of that. And then just place your freshly made fondant onto your counter and just begin to knead it. What you really want to do is just be able to form it into a ball. This fondant needs to rest overnight, and the next day it will be ready to use as you please. And I just want to mention I love that crisco on my hands because it barely got any fondant on my fingers, which is really the way to go. So how we're going to wrap this up is I actually divided the fondant in half. I have some really good heavy-duty saran wrap. I like the Costco brand, and I'm again placing a little bit of crisco on my fingers and I'm spreading it out along all over my saran wrap. You don't want to use like a spray because that'll make your fondant crust. So then just place half of that fondant right smack in the middle and just begin to wrap it very tightly. You're going to repeat this with another piece of saran wrap. So I did the same thing with the other half of the fondant. Now I'm placing them both in a very shallow container fitted with a lid. I'm using a Pyrex, and we're just going to let this sit overnight and it'll be ready to use the next day. So it's the following day, and I always keep glycerin on the side, and you want to take some of the fondant, about a quarter at a time. Don't even try kneading it all at once because this makes about 4.5 pounds of fondant, and trying to knead all that is like going to be hurting your arms, okay? So I took about a quarter of it. I placed some glycerin in it. Now I am adding some vegetable shortening or some crisco. I like to interchange, go back and forth between glycerin, crisco, and this is the consistency that it should be. It should be both soft and very supple, and it'll resemble the same texture as Play-Doh. Now that my fondant is just perfect, I am now going to knead it into a nice round ball, and I keep twisting it because I want the bottom of this to be smooth as well, because when I roll this fondant out, I want both the top and the bottom of the fondant to be nice and smooth on both sides, because if there are any errors or like bumps within the fondant or the cake or the frosting that's underneath or the crumb coat, that it'll definitely show when you put your fondant on top of your cake. So now I'm just going to roll it out. I'm not going to show you guys how to put it on a cake in this episode, but in the next one or in the future one, I definitely will, simply because I didn't feel like baking a cake. So now just, you can tell how nice and smooth and supple this is. I just want to put my face in it, but I'm not going to. And then once you get it nice and flattened out and you're ready to put on top of your cake, I'm going to put some cornstarch all over this. And it's just to make sure that it doesn't stick to my rolling pin as I'm rolling it up. So you want to roll it up and now transfer it. And I'm pretending like I'm rolling it out onto my invisible cake. In a later episode, be on the lookout. I'll show you guys how to get off all that cornstarch and make it look nice and pretty. Thanks for watching.